Have you ever heard the expression, killing time? I've been hearing that my whole life. What are you up to? Not much, just killing some time. The truth is that the majority of people, they're killing all of their time doing things that they don't actually care about. We have all this testosterone, this energy, and we kind of go into some random direction that is very unpredictable. And sometimes it leads to a very, very bad spot, right? Now, what ends up happening before guys get to this point? They're probably just killing time, wasting time, looking for something to do. This essentially is one of the major problems in society right now. We have an entire generation of people that are killing time every single day. And it made me realize that we are all killing time, regardless of what we do. So the question is, what do you enjoy doing? How do you enjoy to kill your time? And the beautiful yet most devastating thing about life is that we don't get time back. You aren't going to ever get time back. So all of the effort that you are putting towards your goals right now, let's hope that they're going towards the right goals. It's easier to kill time than it is to have difficult times. And that's the problem. Most people aren't willing to go through those difficult times to get to the other side where it's worth the suffering. It's worth the difficulty. Now, part of the process is being at the part where you isolate yourself from everybody. So you stop hanging out with your friends. You have to work 15, 16-hour days, and you experience something called burnout where you just feel like giving up. You know, you want to stop, you want to quit. You want to numb yourself with junk food or video games or some kind of vice. And either you numb yourself or you sit there in pain and just kind of play things over and over again in your head. So you can either kill that time or let that time kill you. And that's what most of you do. You let that time kill you slowly. Raise your cortisol levels, fuck up your sleep, deteriorate your mental health slowly. I'm a workaholic. So what I've been doing lately is training late at night, exercising ferociously so that it calms my nervous system down, lets me relax, lets me go to sleep. And if I do that, then I can wake up the next day, have a bunch of energy because I'm not staying up all night wired on my phone or like overthinking. We all have our ways to kill time, but we also have our ways to kill demons. It's such a weird feeling when you actually look back at like the last week. That week is never coming back. The last month, the last year, that time is never coming back. So when you look back at the last year, are you proud of yourself? Did you actually do what you wanted to? Were you living in the moment, or were you just killing time? Like, most people don't like what they do. They get by. That's literally it. They get by, you know? So when most people are at work, they're not actually working, they're just killing time. They're counting down the clock. Have you ever had one of those jobs where you're just waiting for it to be over? Most people are just barely getting by, hoping that one day it will get better, but they have no direction and they're numbing themselves by staying distracted instead of fixing it at the root of the problem, the source of this pain. This is a very dangerous thing to learn about yourself. It's sad because, you know, your whole life could go by killing time. You ever listen to those interviews where they have like a 30, 40, 50-year-old person and you ask them like, what are your regrets? And they always say, I wasted too much time doing the wrong things. I picked the wrong career. I hung out with the wrong people. And that has led me to the conclusion of this video. If you're gonna kill time anyways, you should choose what time you kill. Have the choice, because the last thing I want you to do is spend your entire life killing time for somebody else, not yourself. And I advise you to find a way so that you have a choice what you do every day. And it's funny because underneath all of these vices that you pile up on yourself on a daily basis is a job you despise. And the reason that we need all these vices and distractions is because we're trying to kill time, because we want the time to go by faster. This is the point I'm making, bro. I hope you understand what I'm saying. When you peel all that back and you fix the problem at the root source, you go, okay, well, if I can choose how I kill my time, if I can choose how I spend my time, then I don't want it to go fast. Obviously, you want to get lost in the moment, so you go into this flow state. But besides that, I want my time to be slow. Remember when you were a kid and it just felt like a summer lasted forever? Now I look at a summer and I'm like, that's 2 months. But you can actually slow down time. But in order to do this, you have to cut yourself off from everything. When you're listening to music, it just flies by. When you're hanging out with friends, time goes by fast. But when you're alone in a room with no distractions, nothing, all of a sudden, you would be so fucking bored that if a fly came into the room, you'd probably like stalk the fly, look around, you'd be listening to it buzzing. The problem is we don't want to do that. We want that comfort. We want to feel good all the time. So we would rather kill time by numbing ourselves, distracting ourselves, than actually solve the problem. And it's funny because we trick ourselves into thinking we're doing the right thing, or, oh, we'll just get to it later. But most of your problems can actually be solved by just going into a room with a piece of paper and a pencil. Put on some noise canceling headphones, take your phone, lock it outside the door, and actually just write down how you're feeling. You're afraid to be bored. You're afraid to just be alone with yourself and your thoughts. And because of that, you run away from them. You try to cover them. You try to layer up and distract yourself. But is that any way to live? Is running away from your fears and your anxieties by using vices to distract you and numb you any real way to live? Or are you just killing time? Think about it.